Hello everyone, this is Adam Sessler from the past talking to you. I'm actually spending this week in Austin shooting on a movie that is not Noobs 2, so that's all I can say about that, but I want to make sure you had a Sessler something for this week. I want to talk about another thing. There's quite a bit of furors that emerged during GDC, but the one that I found particularly interesting was a panel that tried to dissect what the weighting is that comes up with a Metacritic score. Metacritic is an aggregate site. It takes a lot of publications and it kind of averages them into this big master number that of course has to have a decimal point in the 10th, because obviously games are science, and that has to be a 9.4 and a 9.3 because that 10th difference means everything in the world. I'm quite well known for my frustrations with the site. I once did a panel at GDC called Fuck Metacritic, that probably lays my opinions bare. I don't know who's right or wrong in this. Metacritic did acknowledge that there is some weighting that goes to various sites over others, but that the people on the panel had gotten it wrong, missing the forest for the trees. The website has every right to exist. It's how it's being treated by the game industry itself. Those averages can affect the bonuses and remuneration of people that work on games. Developers, not just the lead, the guy who's sitting there, who's coding, who's working on something. That doesn't seem right. That my opinion, which could come from a day where I'm in a really foul mood and I skew something down because it's an opinion, can somehow go into something that's mathematical that then in turn doesn't give someone the paycheck that they deserve. That doesn't seem to make any sense, and it's really troubling that we've created this monster and there are very few people who want to step up and say, hey, there's something wrong with this. I think I'm very sensitive to what Metacritic does, having once worked in television, where there's Nielsen, this very strange oblique rubric that somehow determines how many people have watched your show based upon a rather small sampling that only gets worse when you get into cable. It was the God that governed my life, and it was this anxious relationship with something I could not understand and I definitely couldn't control. And so with that in mind, this whole idea that a group of predominantly white men who play video games for a living somehow come to a collective consensus that decides where someone can feed their children or take them on vacation for work they've done doesn't make any sense. The power of Metacritic is to the point that while I was at G4, we had a 1 to 5 system. But then I came back in 2013 to find out that we had moved to a half-star system as well, and it was all at the behest of one very, very large publisher who said that we wouldn't be taken seriously unless we were listed on Metacritic. What seems to be so mind-numbing about this is that none of this is practiced by Hollywood or the music industry. They're more than happy to put out poor, piss-poor quality product, but still see it succeed. The Twilight movies, Taylor Swift, Maroon 5, hell, I even think Avatar falls into that as well. Why is it only within video games that somehow you're going to try to hold a developer's head under the water based upon the gaming press, which, as I've been learning over the past few months, is something that the game industry doesn't want to deal with anymore, as was demonstrated by the rather shocking Battlefield 4 event, where there's no interest in giving press access to interviews or actually get the footage in enough time to put anything up on their sites. Now, going back to Hollywood and the music industry, why does that work? It's marketing. They're able to sell the game past the press to the fans. And so it's strange that they're putting all this onus upon just review scores to try to stimulate sales. So here's what I say to the gaming industry and the suits up there. Grow the fuck up and stop your shitty marketing. End of story. All right. Done with that. Probably a little red in the face. Question time, and this comes from Video Wagos Argentina. Hi Adam, my question is, do game journalists or reviewers like you get tired of playing games? For example, I feel like I have to finish BioShock Infinite. Love the themes and story, but I'm not enjoying the game and I'm tired of it, or any other game for that matter. Is this normal? Should I stop gaming or take a week to make it a fresher experience? Sorry for my bad English. Greetings from Argentina, Sass. No bad English in that. In fact, some other people should probably take note of your sentence structure. Really interesting question. Some other people have asked this as well. I have reached points of saturation and burnout, and it's sort of, I have mental tricks when I have to be reviewing a game of trying to get past that and indulge in it. For you, you don't have to be playing a game take a break. It does become just a little bit much, especially in the past quarter. I've been playing so many sort of Twitch games and shooters that I found, actually not recently, but in the past, that I can be playing the game, but I'm kind of numb to the experience. I have to say the BioShock Infinite is the one that really took me out of that and kind of gave me something fresh and new. But yes, burnout can happen. Burnout can happen if you're reading too many books. I imagine this probably happens to Michiko Kakutani over there at the New York Times. But yeah, take a breath. It's a hobby. It's something to be enjoyed and to be indulged in. It's not a job, or at least I hope it isn't. All right, I may be out of town this week. That does not mean that there's no content on Rev 3 Games. Part 2 of our BioShock Infinite Spoiled Games is going up, and make sure to write more questions I can answer, so they're getting better and better with every week.